Welcome everyone to episode 88 of This Week in Geek. And this is your reminder, if you haven't seen Challengers yet, go watch Challengers. In case you're just listening to us on Spotify or on Apple, I'm wearing a Challengers t-shirt. But my name is Ren Geekness, and this is, of course, my co-host, as always, Zach Pope. How are you doing today, Zach?
I'm doing good, man. We're talking Deadpool and Wolverine, so that means it's going to be a good day. You're wearing a Challenger shirt. I'm wearing a Barbenheimer shirt. Everything is in sync and everything is good. Yeah, man, it's all great. And just to kind of give everyone a heads up, if you're listening or watching this on video, feel free to listen to this also on Spotify and Apple on the Into the Geek First podcast feed. You guys have been doing pretty good listening to our audio only. So,
Good.
and then vice versa. If you listen to the audio only version, you should definitely come check out our YouTube channels as well.
Yeah.
So,
And subscribe to both the channels.
yes,
So you know
exactly.
whenever anything else is up. All right, everyone. In case you're new to the show, in case you're listening, watching us on the replay, whatever, This Week in Geek has 3 segments in each episode. The first segment is with myself, Zach, and then you all watching live on the live chat go through everything we watched this past week and rank it from the worst to the best. That is our weekly ranking. We then move on to our main topic, the topic on the thumbnail, on the title of the video. And today, as Zach mentioned, we will be discussing Deadpool and Wolverine and the cameos we might see. We're going to rank them in percentages to the most likely, the least likely, maybe some surprises here and there. We'll see. Zach coordinated for this to be the topic, so I'm sure he's going to throw some wild cards at me, and I cannot wait for it. And then we move on to the last and third segment of the show, where we answer your questions, or at least as much as we can. There is always a post on my community tab on my channel for you to leave questions for this episode, where you see the thumbnail for each episode of the podcast. Of course, like I said, we do our best to get to as many, if not all of them, as much as we can. But if you want to guarantee your question is answered and is answered immediately, consider clicking the tip link or using the super chat feature. All right, Zach, let's go into the weekly ranking. Do you want to get started? Because I feel like mine is going to be very, very fast.
Same. I didn't watch a lot this week, so
All right.
yeah, I can start. So, for this week, I only watched 3 things. I liked every single one. That's about it. So, at the bottom is The Idea of You. I thought this movie was actually really good. At first, when it started, I was like, it's a little cheesy, but it's like, okay, all these circumstances bringing it up, but you really fall in love with them. The idea of them. You fall in love with their performances,
All right.
and I was really surprised by that. But what I want to say is that I want to shout out the director, Michael Showalter, who I
Yes.
think has been doing a really good job with specific films like that. Not every film he's hit out of the park, but when he focuses in on love, I think that's where he really finds his niche. The Big Sick is still his best film, hands down. Love The Big Sick. Spoiler alert, was actually really surprising to me and very, very fucking depressing. And the same thing with The Idea of You. But I think Anne Hathaway is hands down the best part about this movie. She is the thing that makes you fall in love with them. She's the reason that you're cheering. And overall, I was very surprised by this movie. I thought I was going to walk out of it going, okay, that was cool. That was fun. I'll never watch it again. And I walked out going, I felt very invested in it.
Mm-hmm.
Up next is The Fall Guy, which I think is the perfect way to kick off your summer. I think it's a near perfect rom-com. I fucking love this movie. My wife, who is not a big fan of Ryan Gosling, she likes him, but not like the biggest fan. Like she just like she thinks he plays a little bit too much of the same role sometimes when it comes down to like the comedy stuff. Loved this movie.
Good.
She's sold on him now. She's like, this is the movie that kind of sold me. Emily Blunt, we both agreed were awesome. We laughed, we cheered, we smiled. This movie was everything I wanted it to be, and it landed in that direction. Is it a little bit too long? Sure. But is it a fuck ton of fun? Absolutely. But my number one of the week is X-Men 97. Even when I think this show can't get any better, it gets better.
Yeah.
And I love that the last 2 weeks in particular, there have been some cameos. And while they were nice to have, they didn't change anything in the story.
Nope.
And everyone on Twitter talks about those moments, but I knew before I watched the episode I was spoiled, and I watched them and I'm like,
I was too.
for me, I'm like, that sucks that I knew about it, but it didn't matter
No,
because they were so
not an actual spoiler then.
Yeah, like it was a good thing, and I'm really happy with how this show's pulling out. I love the villain that they're doing. I don't want to say who it is in case no one knows yet, but the villain they are doing is
So incredible that they're doing this villain in a first
Yep.
season, because this is not a mainstream character at all in X-Men.
Mm-mm. I agree. So I'm very curious to see who they go with next. Is this like a main villain going forward? Perhaps like just like maybe it doesn't end well for the X-Men this season, but I don't know.
My
All
best
I know is
guess
I love
is
it.
he's at least recurring. I think with the title sequence and the involvement of certain characters, I think it's very clear where we're going in the second season.
I agree. So, but yeah, that's my weekly ranking. Man.
All right. For myself, I will only have watched one more thing than Zach. I have 4 things to rank. And apart from that, our rankings are exactly the same. Because at the very bottom is Netflix's Jerry Seinfeld directed Unfrosted, the story of the Pop-Tarts. Did you expect this movie to be good? Raise your hands. Exactly. No one raised their hands. Did you? No, you didn't. No, you didn't. It's terrible. It's really, really bad. It doesn't know what it wants to be. It feels like a Saturday Night Live stretched out. And I remember when they first announced this movie, my immediate thought was, is there an actual interesting story behind that? And then you watch the movie and everything is a joke. And a lot of the jokes don't work. I mean, I don't remember laughing once, but it's so confusing and yet it feels so safe. Like, this is a story about 2 cereal companies wanting to outdo each other. And then, Zach, check this out. Kellogg's goes to this rich Mexican person because of sugar. They want to exclusively get sugar from him. They don't want him to provide sugar for anyone. And they're sitting at his mansion talking about white powder. And then it's a movie about making cereal for children. But at the same time, when they're having a press conference and one of their, I don't know, engineers, whatever, is a German man, and he gets asked, where were you in the 1940s? And he refuses to answer the question. Is that supposed to be I don't get it. This movie is terrible. It doesn't know what it wants to be. It has too much going on, and yet at the same time, not enough to have a movie around it. Do not waste your time like I did. On top of that, the idea of you, I echo all of Zach's sentiments. Anne Hathaway is just one of those actors that just makes me smile whenever she's on screen. It's sweet, it's earnest, and it has more maturity than you expect from a rom-com. So I'm really glad to see like rom-coms making a comeback right now, because this one hits most of the right notes. I think it's a little bit too long. I think a few of its side plot threads don't get quite as satisfyingly resolved, but I think this is a good time, a good, hour and 15 minutes, 50 minutes, something like that, spent in front of the screen. Second place, Fall Guy. I've been saying it ever since the trailer came out. I watched the movie. It was exactly that. Look, this movie is very much engineered towards me. It's an action movie with rom-com elements. It's also a movie that celebrates stunts. It's a movie about making movies. It stars my favorite actor in the world, David Leitch, who's a very underrated director, I find. This is not quite as great as I wanted it to be. It feels very convoluted at points. It's just too plot heavy for its own good at certain points, but it hits all the right notes I wanted and expected it to. First place, X-Men 97. Like you said, Zach, every week we go and I'm like, nope, this is the best episode yet. And the week after comes, no, this is the best episode yet. 3-part finale. This is part 1 of a 3-part finale, and you already see so many story threads and character arcs paying off. I've told you this, I've told Leo, I've told James, we were talking on a chat the other day. I absolutely love this show, and I think it's so amazing that, like many of us back in the 90s, there's now an entire generation who gets to grow up with these topics, these themes, these rich characterizations, and great writing in a fantastic show. Not going to spoil anything in case you haven't seen it, but I don't know. I need to talk with someone because I need to have a proper discussion. How do you watch this episode and disagree at all that Magneto was right? Because he was. And when there's a shot in this episode, gave me chills down my spine, man. The music, just the one word, and it's done. And then that, oh man, I cannot wait for the next episode. This show,
I know. I actually might stay up till midnight for the last two.
You think so?
I
remember what else I watched, Zach. I watched Tales of the Empire earlier.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched it yet. I didn't get a chance to.
I would put it above Unfrosted. Now there's a big gap between Tales of the Empire and Unfrosted.
You don't have to lie, man. You don't have to be a Disney show.
No.
It's okay. Just say it's Unfrosted. You're overreacting. I think Unfrosted's probably a really good movie.
I want you to watch it and come back to me next week.
I was gonna watch it yesterday, but I was busy.
Yeah, watch it if you have time. I want to see how you actually feel about it.
Okay.
But yeah, there's quite a big gap between Unfrosted and it. I think Tales of the Empire is good. I think 3 episodes of it are mediocre. I think their average 3 episodes are focused on Morgan Elsbeth. The other 3 are focused on Barriss Offee. Morgan Elsbeth just isn't that interesting a character to be the lead, especially because you go to the last season, Tales of the Jedi, and you have the Ahsoka backstory. First episode, her as a baby, and then it jumps to her as a teenager, coming into being a Jedi. That works. You can have those big jumps in time and gaps in between character stories for Ahsoka because we have Clone Wars, we have Rebels, we have Ahsoka now. Morgan Elsbeth, she's in 1 episode of The Mandalorian, and she's a supporting villain in Ahsoka. So it's not as compelling to see the character journey on her side. One of the episodes, great cameo fest. You're going to particularly like one of the cameos.
Yeah.
You shouldn't expect the episode to be around that person because I know how excited you were to see that person.
No, I
or that cyborg, I guess.
Yeah.
In the trailers. Like, that's literally
the Morgan's. Shot. Is that Morgan's storyline?
But what you see in the trailer, like that shot of him, that's it.
That's dumb.
That's done.
It's so stupid.
That's what. And then you have Barriss Offee. Barriss Offee, I found them to be really good episodes, particularly 1 and 2. I think the 3rd one is good. They just go in the direction I thought.
Very interesting. I thought it was going to be the opposite for most people. That the Morgan stuff was like the top tier things. So I'm very surprised to hear. I think. I mean, you're the first person I've talked to that's watched it. So.
For me, it works better because of what I just said about Morgan, because of the context. When you have those big jumps in between like episodes, Barriss Offee, you have all that backstory. You know exactly what happened to her, and then all these 3 episodes, there's not that big a gap in between them, particularly 1 and 2. It takes a purposeful big gap, big jump in time between episodes 2 and 3. But
see, that's where
very well.
Like the Tales of the Jedi really surprised me on how good, how good it was. I just watched it because it was like a throwaway thing, and the depth they did to Dooku was phenomenal. I wish, but my one complaint with this series, I wish it was like Tales of the Jedi, 6 episodes of Dooku, okay? And then you did Tales of the Empire, did 6 episodes of one character. If you want to do a second season, then come back and do a second season.
Yeah.
I think that would have been the stronger route instead of 3 and 3. And is it back and forth? It's like one episode this person, one episode this person.
No, 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 no. It's Morgan Elsbeth, Barriss Offee.
Okay, I remember the Tales of the Jedi was
Yeah.
Ahsoka Dooku.
This one is at least on my screeners app. It was in that
Okay.
order. I don't know if on Disney Plus it'll be
Okay. Interesting.
different.
Interesting. Okay, I'll watch it once I'm done with Bad Batch. I'm almost done.
Before we go into Eric Thorpe's weekly ranking, if you want to watch Unfrosted because of Peter Dinklage, he is in one scene. One scene.
That's the best scene.
Nah, not really. It's a whole joke about the milkman being this sort of mafia, and he is the leader of the milkman.
Just read the weekly rankings. This
All
is
right.
so stupid.
I wanted that to sink in before going on. So thank you for giving me permission. Weekly ranking by Eric Thorpe. Number 11, Planet of the Apes 2001. That's the Tim Burton one. Number 10, Fantastic Four 94, the animated series. Very good. Number 9, X-Men Origins Wolverine. How is that in front of Fantastic Four, the animated series? Come on. Number 8, Battle for the Planet of the Apes. Number 7, Boy Kills World, which I still haven't seen. Number 6, Invincible, Adam Eve. Number 5, X-Men The Last Stand. Number 4, Better Call Saul. Number 3, Ripley, which I still haven't seen. Number 2, X-Men 97. And number 1, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Very good movie. I found it quite underrated. I would not put it in front of X-Men 97 myself. All right, Zach, why don't you throw us into our main topic of discussion today?
All right, and we're discussing Deadpool and Wolverine. It's Cameos ranking, but it's mostly who do we think will show up, in Deadpool and Wolverine. There was a report that came out this week that they're going back for reshoots for a couple weeks in May, and that's basically to put more cameos in. They're satisfied with where the story's at. And I saw some people get a little worried about this, but I'll say this. I think these cameos are one of two things. One, they were in the script originally, and this was their idea, but either the actor or actress wasn't available at the time that they needed to shoot, probably because due to the strikes, or maybe even just, again, busy. Second, maybe Marvel gave them a little bit more money. Dream big. Go, like, genuinely, like, they might have been like, here's your budget of, I think I read it's $125 million for the whole film. I could be wrong. I thought that's what the rumor was. But maybe they're like, you know what? Here's $25 million. Go finish and go do the film that you want to do. The film's turning out awesome, which is I could totally see. Like, if they're like, this is a winner on our hands, like, we know that this movie could hit $1 billion with that. And I also think deep down, Marvel knows we don't want another Multiverse of Madness situation. We already know that we're teasing towards these. Let's get those bigger cameos in here. Let's do it. It's the send off to the Fox universe. So I think what it would be fun to do this run is we just go back and forth. You say a cameo that you think's gonna appear or may appear or could appear, and I'll go back and say one. And yeah, that's about it. So I'll let you go first, man.
I think we get Patrick Stewart. I just want to take the obvious one out of the way.
Okay. That's a good one. I'm gonna be honest with you though. I'm not sold on him coming back for it. I'm sure he is in it. But just something in me is like not sold on him coming back. Like, I don't think Ian McKellen's in this. I don't think any Magneto is in this. But I think there's references probably, but I don't think there's a Magneto in this.
See, I agree with you, and I think so. If you had asked me this before any of the trailers came out, and by the way, I still haven't seen the second trailer, I would have said there's a good chance. After seeing the trailer, I think there's a higher chance Xavier is in it because the villain in this movie, don't forget, is Cassandra Nova, Xavier's twin sister, who supposedly died in the womb.
Yeah.
He killed her. Don't forget that. Charles Xavier killed her. Or tried to, at least.
Okay. I mean, I think, like, if there was a list on this, I'd say, like, it's a 70 to 80% chance Patrick Stewart shows up.
Yeah.
All right, mine. I'm going to get another obvious one out of the way. I think Blake Lively's in this movie, and I think she's playing Lady Deadpool. I think we already know, like, from certain things that other Deadpool variants are showing up, and I'm assuming other Wolverine variants will also show up. But it's Ryan Reynolds' wife. She's awesome. I think she would be a pretty good Lady Deadpool. I would also prefer that than Taylor Swift playing Lady Deadpool. I don't think she is, but I've seen some fans say that she probably could. But there's a shot in the trailer, in the first one, not in the second one, of someone shooting, and you see the gloves, and it is definitely not Deadpool, but it looks Deadpoolish. And someone pieced together. If you look at the Lady Deadpool suit in the comics, it's the same glove style. And I'm just going to say it's Blake Lively, man. If you're doing Lady Deadpool, why not do Ryan Reynolds' wife? You know what I mean?
Here's my question. If Lady Deadpool is in the movie, if on top of that she is played by Blake Lively, would that just be a cameo?
I think she's like a mid part of it. Like, I don't know how big those variants of Deadpool are. I'm trying to talk around the trailer, the second trailer. They don't show anything big like that.
They show Dogpool. I've seen Dogpool.
Yeah, but there's a scene of them walking, and I told my friend, I'm like, $1,000 bet there's a bunch of shit cut out of that scene. Like,
yeah,
you can. There's two of them. There's clearly more room for more people.
Or if it's like Infinity War, that shot isn't even in the movie.
Yeah, so my guess is in that scene, one side is all Deadpools, one side is all variant Wolverines, or Wolverine's companions from the past that we'll probably bring up. Lady Deadpool. I think Lady Deadpool would be a good one. Just as we know that like Kid Pool, Baby Pool, and all those Dog Pool, like you mentioned. Dude, I will tell you right now, if we get Panda Pool, I will flip the fuck out. Panda Bear is my favorite animal of all time. Deadpool is one of my favorite comic book heroes of all time. So Panda Pool, I will be in that theater screaming. I don't care how many people are in there. I will scream.
All right. I'm going to throw a strange one out there.
Okay.
Because we've heard about this person.
Doctor Strange.
No.
Well, I thought that's where you were going because you said strange.
Oh, okay. I didn't do it on purpose. I'm not that cool.
Damn.
I'm gonna throw, maybe again, because we've heard rumors about this, but we have no concrete evidence of it. Elektra. Jennifer Garner's Elektra.
Oh, I think this is a 100% chance. I think 1,000% chance. I have nothing against that. Which I want to say, do not think Ben Affleck's Daredevil is in this.
No.
I do not think that's in this. So, okay, next one for me. Again, another obvious one. I think Taylor Swift is in the movie. I don't know if she's playing Dazzler, but I think if she is in the movie, I think she's playing herself. I think it's like Deadpool 2's intro song.
She's playing a Deadpool version of herself.
Could be. Was it Celine? How do you say her name? Celine from Deadpool 2, the one who did the song at the very beginning.
Oh, Celine Dion.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a case here. I think that she has an original song for the movie. She's friends with all of them. She's best friends with Blake Lively.
Got it.
I think that's going to be the intro. And then think about it. You got a show and dance man, Hugh Jackman.
Yeah,
you got Ryan Reynolds. It seems like the obvious approach.
Yeah.
So,
all right. What do you got?
That was mine. That
was your. Okay. I have another one. I don't want to be too wild, but I think if this were to happen, and I don't think necessarily it will happen, I don't think it has a good chance of happening, but if it was to happen, it's going to be here or it's going to be never. Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. It's tough because I feel like they could bring him in. Yeah, I was gonna say maybe Secret Wars, but no, you are right. Like if they're gonna do it, this is the place to do it. So
because remember at that time, Ghost Rider was also Fox.
Yeah, that's true.
He was also Fox.
All right, throwing out another one, a Fox movie that never happened, but this actor has been sought after forever. Try playing this. It's Channing Tatum as Gambit. He's friends with both of them.
Yeah.
And if this is the closing out of the Fox universe, this is the only time it'll happen. It will not happen in Secret Wars. This is the place it happens. And I'll tell you right now, if it does happen, I don't think it's just a cameo. I think he's in it for like a good amount of time. Like I would say like an Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire situation.
Okay, cool.
For No Way Home. I think he would have a legitimate role. in this, and I think specifically after X-Men 97 with the Gambit love there, I think it makes sense. So
yeah. All right, I'm gonna throw it out there. Chris Evans has the Human Torch.
yep, I fully agree. That was going to be one of my next ones too.
Yeah.
Adding in there, I think Jessica Alba is coming
You
back
think
as
so?
Sue. Yep, I think there's going to be them two. I think the other two aren't in it.
Oh, see, here's the thing. I could buy one of them being in it. If you bring two, you bring the four. And that's how I see it. Like,
Maybe.
you don't bring two. Like, you bring one because, like, he's from the. Like, if you bring more than one, you bring all four. Come on,
Okay.
don't be lazy.
I mean,
You
I guess
have
we'll
fun.
see, but I do think Jessica Alba is in the movie. I
Fair
do
enough.
think Jessica Alba is in the movie. Next up, that Jessica Alba would have been my next one. Next up, though, Michael B. Jordan's been teasing that he's in the movie.
Yeah,
Is he playing a Human Torch as well, or is he playing
think so.
Killmonger?
No, I
think he's playing
it's,
Human Torch.
Well, here's the thing. If you have him and Chris Evans as the Human Torch, I think that's great. If you only have Michael B. Jordan as the Human Torch, I think that's one where, like, why are you reminding people that this movie exists? When they're gone, when the whole thing is going to be, oh, we had Michael B. Jordan as the Human Torch, we could have had Chris Evans as the Human Torch, and that's more fun. So I think he is as the Human Torch, but that also only confirms that Chris Evans as the Human Torch.
It'd be funny is if like Deadpool's trying to put together a team or whatever and he can pick, and they're like, you can have that Human Torch, and he'll be like, I want that one, the one that looks like Captain America. You know, like it could be something of that nature. Okay, jumping in next. I don't want this. I think it's down, and I'm curious to see how they do it. X-23, Daphne Keane. I think Daphne Keane's going to play an older version of X-23. And I will say this. I think it is the version from Logan. I think it's one that's like 10 plus years later from Logan, because she is older. She can play the 10 plus years older now.
I mean, it has been 7 years at this point.
Yeah, so I'm a little nervous with them doing that, but I think that's the direction they're going to go in. And I think it'll add a certain layer to what it could add a certain layer. It also could be terrible, but we'll see. So,
all right, I'm going to throw. This was a little bit of cheat because it's not one specific character, but I'm going to give you something very wild. That, if any movie is going to do it, is this movie animated characters from the X-Men series. Like literal
97?
Animated characters interacting with live action characters, and like Logan seeing himself animated.
And would it be the 97 ones, or could you just see them?
I think if you're gonna do it, you promote the show that's out right now. But who knows?
And Deadpool, please correct me if I'm wrong. Deadpool's never been in 97, or even just
not in 97. Not in 97.
Show.
I'm not sure if he has ever been in the original. I think he might have been, even if just a small role. He was in Ultimate Spider-Man, the animated series. That was really fun. He was voiced by Will Friedle of Boy Meets World.
He is in the series.
He's also the host of Batman Beyond.
He is in the series, but as in a picture.
There you go.
On Sabretooth's something with Sabretooth. So
interesting.
That's what that's what it seems it is. I could be wrong, maybe there's more, but okay. Going back again, I think Leaf Schreiber is Sabretooth.
I was gonna ask you that because we know we're getting the original Sabretooth, Tyler Mane. From X-Men 2000. Yeah. I also think we got Liev Schreiber, and I would love to. I think as much as that movie is not good, as much as they, refuse to characterize him as Sabretooth, like visually, makeup, like whatever, I think I would love to see Liev Schreiber as Sabretooth.
I agree.
All right. Last one. For me, I'm going to say that you could have a lot of fun if Oscar Isaac shows up here and Deadpool has a little bit of fun with him.
Who would he show up as though?
as Apocalypse.
Oh, okay.
Or literally just as Oscar Isaac, and Deadpool makes fun of his Apocalypse, and he's like, no, I'm Moon Knight. And like, oh, exactly, you have multiple personalities.
Yeah, that'd be funny. I'd like that one. Trying to think of my last one. I mean, I have like the obvious ones like Storm and Cyclops.
Yeah, but those
stuff
are
like that. But
pretty
like,
much locks.
okay, I'm gonna throw one out because it's been a rumor.
Mm-hmm.
I think Henry Cavill's playing a Wolverine variant.
Oh, not Taron Egerton. Henry Cavill.
Well, could be Taron. Could be Taron. There's been rumors that Taron's in the movie. There's been rumors that Daniel Radcliffe's in the movie. Who said that all four of them aren't playing variants?
That's true.
So, like, to give the fan, and again, that lineup sequence, you could have all the Wolverine variants and you could have the Deadpool variants. That's just what I think. I think is like to kind of throw out another one. William Stryker, I think, could show up in here. I think it would be cool to see Brian Cox come back and play the role from the original.
All of the Strikers. The young one from the Past, Danny Houston from X-Men Origins, and Brian Cox.
Okay. Now let me ask you this:
his character in Succession.
What, in terms of the MCU, what are 3 characters you could see showing up from the MCU? Could be a variant of them, could be the actual version.
Okay.
And then I have one more question for you.
I already pulled Moon Knight in, so I'm going to say him. And you need... The exposure wouldn't hurt, especially if you're going from TV to movie. I mean, technically, Patrick Stewart already show up. You know what? Wanda. I'm going to throw Wanda out there. And since this is the movie that officially sort of, kind of not really, but yes, brings mutants into the MCU, Ms. Marvel.
Okay. I would love to see...
One final question for you.
Okay. What's your question? Then I have one more follow-up.
No. You now go through what you were saying. Okay. I'm finishing.
My last one. Most MCU films have 2 end credit scenes. Now, I can't talk about one because I actually know what it is. If you don't know that. I'll talk to you afterwards about it if you want to know. I kept forgetting to ask you because the guy told me at like 10 o'clock at night. My guess for the second one, and because this is what I've been wanting the MCU to do, is that in your end credit scenes, like he used to, you tie into what's coming up in the next previous year.
Literally,
the next year.
A scene from the next movie. You can just do that.
I guarantee, or I'm going to ask you, over or under 60%, one of the end credit scenes is the new Fantastic Four in their universe. I think it's like an 80%. Just a scene.
I really, really want it to be.
It would make sense too.
Yeah, 100%. Boom. Yeah. Either that or Captain America, because that's the next one.
Yeah, or Captain America too. I just don't see how that could fit in where like that's like Fantastic Four is like in a different universe.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Here's the thing. So if you want to finish off on, hey, Deadpool comes to the MCU universe, you transition, and the MCU universe has this Captain America.
Yeah.
Or you finish off with that end credit scene, seeing where Logan ends up.
Yeah.
And Logan is in this universe where, in the 60s, there was this team called the Fantastic Four, and they disappeared a long time ago.
Yeah. You made a good point with the Captain America. What if by the end they come into the MCU and there's a red alert, and you see Anthony Mackie's Captain America show up and whoever the new Avengers team is.
Especially if the rumors about Captain America and Thunderbolts are real, and they talk about Tiamat, which is going to be the island of Genosha, mutants, new mutant in the MCU, all that. All right, final question before we move on to the question segment. Does Josh Brolin cameo as Cable?
I cannot answer this.
I mean, I think you just answered by not answering.
No. There's different things about it.
Okay.
I have a theory on it. On it, but I think it's him. I think it's him.
Mm.
I think Josh Brolin just shows up.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I think there's a joke about him playing the 2 different characters, but I do
Or
not
or
think
could be a joke about him not being in the movie.
that too.
Yeah.
I think there's a reason he's not in the movie though. And
Okay.
I it's hard for me to imagine they don't bring him back as Cable because while they do, yes, Thanos and Cable sound the same, they don't
They
look
don't
the
look
fucking
the same.
same.
No.
Like he
Yeah.
can play the 2
And they've
characters.
done it
Even if
plenty of times.
yeah,
They've
even if in the future they want to use Thanos ever again and they want to bring back Josh Brolin, you can have both characters at the same time.
yeah, 100%.
So I don't think it's an issue. So but
Me
yes, I do think he's in it as more of a hey, it's me, Josh Brolin, you know.
Yeah.
So but
All
also
right,
maybe
everyone.
they're adding him back in now. Maybe he was too busy filming Dune and they just knew they wouldn't be able to
Yeah.
put Cable in the film. So
All right, everyone. Let's move on to the questions. Do you want to get started, Zach?
no, I don't want to answer any of these.
All right. Lady Aaron starts us off. Well, happy Star Wars Day. That's right. Happy May the 4th be with
Yes.
you all today as you're watching.
What are you doing for it?
A friend of mine is having her birthday. We're all getting together and we all love Star Wars. The dress code is Star Wars. I don't have anything thematic, but I have a couple of jackets or coats that kind of look like Jedi robes.
Okay.
I'll show you once you start. You give your answer. Star Wars Day, and May the 4th be with you. What do you love most about Star Wars, and what do you hate the most about Star Wars? Zach, I'm going to answer what I hate most about Star Wars. I'm going to throw it over to you, and then come back to me for what I love most. What I hate most about Star Wars is Star Wars fans.
I mean, yeah. I mean that's the most obvious one is the fans. I think the fan base is just toxic. It's the one thing I hate about Star Wars. It's the one thing that's like when you're in public and like someone mentions they like Star Wars to you, it's always weird. Like because you never know what they're gonna say. Like they could say that they also like hate you because of your opinion on Star Wars. So it's a weird feeling when I went to Star Wars. What's the fuck's it called? Celebration. I was very nervous to talk Star Wars with a lot of people there, and it was very interesting to say, "Oh, hey,
He is my Padawan.
I like this." So yeah,
It's good, right? It's really good.
Yeah,
and I have
yeah.
4
See?
of them. I have this one. I have a black one. I have like a crimson one. It's really good. And then I have a light gray one.
I think you should paint your face like Darth Maul too.
No.
Okay. What do I love the most about Star Wars? A lot of the characters. I think the reason I do come back to Star Wars is because of the characters. Yes, the worlds are fun. Yes, the stories are fun, but it all comes down to the characters that are involved in those. And good or bad Star Wars, I think there's something to always enjoy because the movies are not perfect, at least not some of them.
No.
And there's still some fun to be had there. What about you? What's your favorite thing you love?
The characters, the stories, just the fact that it exists, like it can be one of the best fandoms to be a part of. As much as you see the toxicity online and everything, whenever I go to a theater and everyone is like last year when I went to watch Return of the Jedi, my favorite Star Wars movie, no one was there to talk about the stuff we don't like, the stuff we hate, and telling you, oh, kill yourself for liking that movie or that movie. We were there to watch Return of the Jedi, and it was pure euphoria. It was like watching a wrestling show live. Everyone was reacting to it. Everyone was celebrating with the titles, the title crawl, the music, the victory celebration at the end. Just, it can be a beautiful thing. And as far as the movies exclusively are concerned, it is a beautiful thing. And I'm so happy it exists. Because otherwise, I don't know what mine and Zach's first video together would have been. Our first video together was talking Attack of the Clones, unfortunately, but it was
Twice.
Twice, yeah. I don't even remember anymore what went wrong. I just remember that we had to do it again because something went wrong.
Yeah, it was something with the audio.
Yeah, it must have been because it's me. It's this idiot. So, all right, what's next?
All right, Lady Aaron, thoughts on the Boys season 4 trailer that we got? If you have watched it, did you watch it?
For what? Sorry. Yes, I just watched it. It's so good. I cannot wait for the show to come back. It gets better every single season. And I'll tell you this, from the snippets, the visuals of the action that we get, the craziness, the insanity, the hilarity of it all, they've gotten to a point where they can dive more into the craziness of the comic without losing the grit and the nuance and kind of the prestige that they have as a television show, like how good the writing is, the performances are. They can bring in all these elements now after 3 seasons without compromising that. So I'm very, 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 very happy, so excited for the show to come back.
Yeah. I did watch it. I wasn't going to. Because I don't like watching TV ones. I just kind of like jumping into them.
See,
But I watched
I
it.
feel more comfortable with TV ones because TV ones have so much more,
Yeah.
much bigger of a runtime. That the trailers will inherently show a lot less of the show.
That's true. But first off, shout out Gen V showing up in there. I thought that was cool. Seems like pretty big parts to be in just the trailer. So, but the thing that really surprised me about this, and I said this, I was not the biggest fan of season 3. I thought it started off a little weak and it won me back by the very end. I ended up loving the season. But in the past, I've talked about it. The boys' comics suck. They're awful. I've tried reading them. They're boring. And they don't have the grit. They don't have the drama. They don't have that care that I feel like the show has, where it's just gross out to be gross out at times and disgusting shit happening here and there. And as you mentioned it, they can do weird shit like they did in the comics, but it doesn't lose its essence. It doesn't lose its personality or what it is. And that in the end of the day, it still is a drama. As funny as weird as it can be, it's still a drama and you still fully get into the characters. Now, I am going to predict something this season, just from the vibe I got from the trailer, because I do think I don't think this is the final season. I think the 5th one will be the final season. I think some major characters die this season. And I think it leads us into the finale, which will be a little different, like very different. But I think we're in for a world of hurt when it comes down to characters. Now, which characters die, I don't know. But I'm not talking about like side. I genuinely think some main characters. Oh, you think Mother's Milk?
100%. He's the kind of, like, no pun intended, he's the mother of the group.
Yeah.
Like, he's the voice of reason. You want to test these characters? Look how fucking broken Billy Butcher was in season 3. Look how fucking nuts he is right now. And the narration by Huey, like, if we want to defeat these monsters, we got to start acting a little human. The only person who has consistently acted as a human being is Mother's
Milk. Yeah.
So what's the biggest test you can give to the rest of the group?
Kill him.
To break their strongest elements.
Yeah.
Take that out.
Let me ask you, on the soup side, who do you think could die from the soup side?
I think it's about time that the Deep goes. Listen, the Deep is a highly entertaining character. He is it's so funny just how pathetic he is. And you get a little glimpse of him trying to fight Starlight. Like, everything we've seen throughout 3 seasons of the show, he's getting his ass kicked in that fight. Like, I don't know how he thinks he would win. I also think A-Train switches sides. He turns babyface.
I agree on that. I think he joins their side. Last thing, obviously we know Black Noir is back. I think the kid from Gen V is playing Black Noir. I think he's in the suit.
Oh, the brother.
Yes.
Oh,
I think they're gonna suit him up as Black Noir.
Holy shit, I like that. I hadn't thought of that, but I like that.
Yeah. And I think that'll
either that
tie back. Yeah.
Either that, or they went with a route from the comics.
The comics, yeah. That was the other
thing. If you haven't read, we're not going to spoil. That's actually one of the things in the comics that are like, that's fucked up. Like, in a good way.
And it's cool. It's cool too.
Yeah. All right. With the Fall Guy now officially out, where does Ryan's performance in this film fall into your personal ranking of Ryan Gosling's performance? Same for Emily Blunt. Like, as I said before, these questions don't work. Like, you have to give us choices, like 2 or 3.
Yeah,
4 maybe that we can rank, but off the top of my head, I no idea. Don't know. They're both very good. That's all I can say. What do you got next, Zach?
Since The Fall Guys an ode to the stunt performances in movies, what are some of your favorite stunts in movies that you even watched? Well, thank God you asked this because this was going to be our topic.
Yeah, at one point this was going to be our topic. For me, again, it's tough to remember all the stunts that I love and admire off the top of my head, but the one that has always stuck with me is the Burj Khalifa climb from Ghost Protocol. Like, that's fucking insane.
If we're staying on Mission Impossible, I love the bathroom fight scene. That from Fallout. That's like one of my favorite stunts of all time. To throw another stunt out there,
the Halo jump, also from Fallout.
The Halo jump. But Mad Max Fury Road. I mean, everything they did on there with the cars is insane.
Maverick is another one.
Yeah.
There's also a I want to shout out my favorite movie of last year, John Wick, the fall down the stairs.
Oh yeah. I mean, all of John Wick, man. The whole car going around in a circle.
Look at Police Story starring Jackie Chan. Look at what that man did for us.
Oh, Terminator 2.
The truck in the LA River.
Yeah.
No, not in the LA River. That's not in the lab. But the stunt in the LA River is fucking amazing. And the LA River is awesome also in person. Yeah. I can testify to that now. So yeah, those are a few of the ones I love myself.
Yep. Agree.
All right. Lady Aaron also asks, Giancarlo Esposito has revealed to us that he has been cast in the MCU as a mystery character. If possible, what kind of character do you think he could be cast as? Which MCU character do you personally think Giancarlo would be best as? I would love to see him as a Professor X. I know he doesn't want to play a villain. I think he could work as a Mr. Sinister too. He could work as a Magneto.
I still want John Hamm to be Mr. Sinister.
Oh,
that's like my definitive pick for that.
My definitive is Luke Evans.
Oh, Luke Evans would be.
Speaking of John Hamm, Zach. Speaking of John Hamm, you will not believe this, but he shows up in Unfrosted. Unfrosted, there's a moment, and I'm not making this up. I swear on my life. There's a moment where it suddenly cuts as they're trying to come up with the name for the Pop-Tart. It suddenly cuts, and they're in a business meeting with an advertising agency, and it's literally, they don't say the names or anything, but it's literally John Hamm playing his character from Mad Men.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm serious. And he's trying to sex up the advertising for Pop-Tarts. And
is this moment good? Because this sounds good.
No, it's not. And then John Slattery, who played Howard Stark, who was also in Mad Men, he's literally there. And they're basically, again, they don't say the names or anything, but they're acting as their characters in that show.
I'm going to watch this because I loved Mad Men. I loved Mad Men.
You're going to feel like you're on drugs because the way this movie pivots from the kind of humor they're going for to the narrative itself, it's like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
All right. What's next?
Well, real fast, I want to give my pick for Jin.
Oh, sorry.
I do not think he's playing an MCU character. Well, somewhat. I think he's in that Spider-Man show. I think he's voicing Norman.
Oh. Okay.
I think he's voicing Norman. But if he were to be in the MCU, I think they picked him for Galactus. And I think Javier Bardem, the other ones, turned it down, and I think he said yes.
All right.
I would rather him be Professor X, though, in the future. Lady Aaron, thoughts on Mike Flanagan talks to direct a new Exorcist movie for Blumhouse?
I think it's beneath him. I am not interested in another Exorcist movie. However, if another one is going to come, you're getting Mike Flanagan, you're getting my ass in a seat when a movie comes out, for sure.
I mean, Mike Flanagan is one of my favorite horror directors, if not my favorite current horror director right now. So
just one of my favorite directors, period.
Dr. Sleep, incredible. Everything he did on Netflix, Midnight Mass, still the best thing I think he's ever done. I'm obsessed with that fucking show. I love The Fall of the House of Usher.
Hush really holds up, man.
I wish Hush was on Netflix out here still. Can't watch it. It's impossible to watch now.
So, well, if only there exists something called piracy.
Yeah, but I've not seen the new Exorcist movie, so let me put that as a preface. I don't care
you still haven't seen it?
No, I'm also
you're
not a
missing
major
out.
fan. I'm also not a major fan of the original. I think it's a little overrated.
I forgot that.
Yeah, so I think it's a great made movie. It's just one of those films that like I maybe I just need to rewatch it. I watched it at a time where I was a dumb little teenager and thought everything was fucking funny. And now when I watch horror films, everything's terrifying to me. So might be a little bit different here, but I have to say this. I read the report because I wanted to make sure on this. This is not a sequel to the last one that came out. This is a brand new thing. So it could be like they're just scrapping their trilogy idea, apparently. Like this is something new that takes place in the world. If he says, hey, this is our actual true sequel to that last one, we just ignore it, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
And maybe he pulls a Dr. Sleep out of his ass. That would impress me.
Yeah.
But Mike Flanagan doing a new Exorcist movie or just a fucking new horror film, I mean, it's hard for me not to get excited for
exactly.
that. So, he is, like you said, one of the best directors working right now. I wish he was doing The Dark Tower for Amazon. I wish that was what was announced, but
yeah,
it's
I mean,
not
he
yet,
still
so.
is.
Oh yeah, see, so fucking
All right.
good. So.
And speaking of Mike Flanagan, thoughts on him being creative producer of executive producer. I read it wrong. You didn't write it wrong. Executive producer of Chris Tuckman's upcoming film Shelby Oaks. Very exciting. It's just exciting to have Mike Flanagan involved in anything. It immediately should peer your eyes into whatever project that is. But knowing it is Chris, having followed Chris's journey, like I believe he was the first guy who put the name Mike Flanagan here. Like, oh, who is this guy Chris Tuckman is talking about? So that's just very exciting. Very happy for him. While I was at the gym today, I was just listening to Chris Tuckman's podcast. He just had Mike Flanagan on. And that's awesome. So, and hopefully the fact that such a big name with Intrepid Pictures is involved means more chances for wider distribution, which means I could maybe possibly get the movie released here, which is great. All right, what's next? No, what do you think before you go into what's next?
Really exciting news. I hope the movie's good.
Yeah.
I hope that this is like one of those like directorial debuts that are very exciting. It seems it's going to be premiering this year. It'll probably premiere at Fantastic Fest, is my guess, since that's the Chris Tuckman's favorite film festival. So
yeah,
that'd be my guess.
All right, next question you're reading, and I'm also not answering because I do not watch Cobra Kai. So I'll be right back.
Okay, thoughts on the first teaser and the final season of Cobra Kai? Well, I didn't watch the teaser, so can't talk on that. But thoughts on it being broken up in 3 parts? I think it's dumb, but I think Netflix is testing something. They did something similar with Arcane over a couple of weeks, and it did a great job. They did something similar with You, and did a great job with You. They did it with Stranger Things. They split it into 2 parts, which was not really in their initial choice. They did it because visual effects wise. So I think they're doing it to test this water. Now, it really just all depends. Was the season written to be broken into 3 parts, or is it when the first part ends, it just kind of ends, and it's not like a significant moment that like makes us tie in to jump in and want to watch part 2, and then vice versa? Does part 2 not really end in a place where we're waiting for the next part? A lot of people have been comparing this to Invincible. I agree. I do not think Invincible should have been split up, mostly because where the 4th episode ended, yeah, it ended in a really good way, but not in the way that it didn't make me go, I have to fucking watch the next episode right now. And then when it came back, it didn't give you that urgency like it needed. While again, I love where it ended. I don't know where you're at, so I don't want to.
I finished.
Okay, you finished it. Where they leave Mark all fucked up, and basically the Viltrumites take Omni-Man. That's an awesome way to end. But there was something to it that just didn't make me go, okay, let's see. It also depends on the quality of the season. If Cobra Kai's final season is just okay and starts out okay, you're going to lose that instantly with part 2 and part 3. We'll see. I'll tell you right now.
I do have a theory. As much as I don't watch the show,
throw
5 episodes in part 1, 5 episodes in part 2. Part 3 is a movie.
Oh, could be. Yeah. I'd be down for it. I will say right now, though, I have heard Stranger Things is doing the same thing. It is getting 3 parts for the 8 episodes. I know, and that is mostly, yes, it helps Netflix, but it's mostly so they can get the season out and showing it. The reason I know this, they're already almost done with the first episode in terms of visual effects.
Oh,
I
okay.
think I think we get it the end of this year, the first part for Stranger Things, if not early
I
next
hope.
year.
I hope.
Yeah,
It's been way
but I
too
think
long.
that's what they do. But plus, like, if the episodes are hour and a half, like they were in the last season, I'm okay with it because you get so much material.
Yeah.
I actually really wasn't opposed to the breaking of Stranger Things. It was so fun to go to work and to go into like environments and have a discussion about Stranger Things with what
Yeah.
do you think is going to happen. I miss that about TV. I love that with the boys, like how I get to go to work and have conversations. X-Men 97 is that water cooler discussion that we have. What do you think is going to happen? Like this last episode, slight spoiler, I'm going to hold my hand up for just 1 second. Omega Red showing back up.
Yes, the cameo.
Fuck, man. For a small cameo, what does that mean for the future of X-Men 97? Like that excites me.
New recurring
and it's
enemy
those
for Wolverine.
discussions.
That's what it means.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, that's my thoughts. I'm just rambling at this point.
I am definitely also not going to have an answer for the next question. Lady Aaron asks, the TV show SpongeBob SquarePants turns 25 years old. If you guys have watched SpongeBob at all, what are some of your personal favorite episodes of the show?
The best episode
These
is
are
when
my
they say the
thoughts
F
on
word.
SpongeBob.
The best episode is when they say the F word. That's the best one.
Do they say the F word?
They get bleeped out, but they're saying the F word.
Okay. There you go. There you go. The only time I tried to watch SpongeBob was I tried to watch one of the movies.
Which one?
I don't know, the one where Antonio Banderas is a pirate in it, in live action. Like literally, it's Antonio Banderas as a pirate.
No, I know. I think that's the original one.
And
oh no.
I did not finish the movie. I'm just gonna say that
this is the only time you've ever watched SpongeBob.
I know I caught, because when I had Nickelodeon as a kid, I know I caught like one episode or another. I was waiting for what was coming next, but I never, because I was like,
that movie sucks. I mean, that movie sucks.
There you go.
The first movie is really good though. Like I just rewatched it like last year. It's actually really good. I was actually really surprised by it. Now I'm a fan of the older SpongeBob stuff, first 2 seasons specifically, and that first movie that came directly after those. Other than that, I'm not. Yeah, I'm over.
Do you think SpongeBob is going to become like Simpsons, where it doesn't end?
Yeah, because it's like their most popular thing.
Yeah.
I do find it funny though that Sandy Cheeks movie that's coming out later this year already leaked online. I don't know if you remember that, dude. No. Literally on Twitter, it leaked completely annoying thing. The whole thing leaked on Twitter like 6 months ago. So like I don't know why they just didn't release the movie because it was done. It was done. So.
All right. What's next?
Thoughts on the first look that we have received for new Francis Ford Coppola's
skip
new
this
film.
one because we got the trailer, the teaser, and Lady Aaron has a question about it later. So let's just skip this.
This is it. This is her.
No, this is the first look. This because we got a picture earlier this week. Thoughts on the first look is Adam Driver has a terrible haircut again. That's. Like it's
okay. This one's for you, Ron. What are your thoughts on the first trailer for Mufasa: The Lion King? If you've seen it, I know Zach reacted to it on his channel.
I liked it. I thought it was good. Like it looks gorgeous, of course, like the original does. There's a few strange things about it, like. They're going clearly the prequel, so it's quote unquote an original story. So why do you have the framing device that Timon and Pumbaa are telling Kiara the story? Also, there's a shot, Zach, where it's literally it looks like Simba surrounded by the flames in the final fight of the Lion King when he fights Scar, and he's jumping on. But as you look, he's jumping at Timon and Pumbaa. So. From that show, without any context, I have no information on this movie. Like, it looks like they're going to include also elements from Lion King 1.5, which is
breaking news.
Oh,
breaking news!
On a Saturday, we're back.
The Acolyte dropped a new trailer and poster.
Who?
The Acolyte.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
Where is it? Why am I?
It's on Twitter. It just dropped.
Why am I not getting a notification? Disney Plus.
I don't think they dropped it. I think someone else started because they're at Comic-Con. They're at that Brazil Comic-Con right now. That's why.
I thought it was in December.
Oh,
Okay,
here it is.
I'll check
Found
it out
it.
after the show. Can you do share screen? I don't want to watch the trailer, but just the poster.
Yeah. Let me. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, a nerd's got a nerd, and it's May the 4th, so of
Well,
course.
here it is. It's on there.
Oh, that is awesome. That's
And
thumbnail right there. That's a thumbnail for sure.
looks really good.
Oh,
I wasn't sold on the first trailer. I was a little
that literally
disappointed by it.
looks like the that literally looks like the cover of a book of one of the
It looks
books
like
it would put
dude,
out.
it looks like the same design as a Star Wars Vision Season 2.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. All right. Next question, and let me just get caught up where we are.
Now we gotta end the show. Now we just gotta end the show because now I'm thinking too much about Star Wars again.
All right, Lady Aaron, thoughts on Ryan Gosling saying in an interview that he would like to redo La La Land because the position of his hand ended up being on the iconic poster that comes from the Lovely Night scene. If you've watched that, I've not watched it. I just read about it. I want him to redo La La Land all over again because I want to watch La La Land all over again. Like I don't.
I want a La La Land too.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck if his end is like this or like this or like this or like that,
or like this or like this
or like this or like this or like this or like this, like on his useless nipples. All right, what's next?
Next one's for you. Ren, today's Backlash France. What matches are you most looking forward to?
Cody versus AJ for sure.
That match is gonna suck.
You can watch it at 1 p.m. ET. What else? I'm looking forward to the Bloodline versus Kevin Owens and Randy Orton because they're gonna get the shit beat out of them by the Bloodline. There's gonna be blood tonight, folks. There's gonna be blood. As red as the red in the flag of France. Any other match? There's no other match I'm like really interested in seeing. I'm interested in them all, but there's no other match that like stands out right now in my mind. Those two are the biggest ones. All right. And I don't have to watch it at 1 a.m. After this, I'm heading out and meeting some friends to watch it. Andrew Steve, what are your thoughts on the article that came out about Dwayne Johnson that included revealing him always being late and that he would pee in a Voss water bottle? First of all, I don't know why the brand of the water bottle matters. And this is not anything against you, Andrew. It's against the article. Here's the thing. For years, we have had articles, interviews, and everyone around him has vouched for his professionalism, his work ethic, all that. I mean, the only person who hasn't so far is Vin Diesel. But, you know, that guy also assaults and harasses women. So I think this article is very interesting. Remember, this came from The Wrap, which is a reliable source, but it is not a Deadline. It is not a Hollywood Reporter. It is not a Variety. It came from, what's his name? Humberto Gonzalez, which he has a reputation for not always telling the truth. But there are details. There are sources in this article. So I think right now it's the time for us to keep this in mind. But let's see what else comes of it. Does anyone else come to vouch for this? Do people come and dismiss it? Like, what is going to happen? Because remember, you're not going to suddenly turn on a person or just blindly believe this thing that comes out without checking for it. And for years, we've had people talk about how positive it is to work with him, and we've checked for it all the same. So strange. And again, some of the details are, okay. And look, about the peeing in the bottle, yes, it's strange, but look, athletes, they need to drink a lot. As long as he knows what he's doing, everyone else knows what he's doing. Look, I'm going into that corner, covering myself just to do this because no time to go to the bathroom because you're on set. It's always go, 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 go. Is there something undignifying if you're the person that has to hold the Rock's pee bottle. Yeah. I hope that person is making enough of a wage to justify that. But let's see what happens. Right now, I just think it's too soon to say, "Oh, we never did that. It would be impossible." I'm not saying that, but I'm also not saying, "Oh shit, turns out he's a terrible person," and all that. Like, I don't know right now. Right now, I'm on a wait and see sort of situation. What about you, Zach?
Well, I've heard Red One is awful, so I'll leave it for that. But two things. You do mention the rap. Sometimes they're correct, sometimes they're not. They also did the article on that whole Soups situation with the manager, saying that the manager, and then that came out to not really be great. Again, it's a he said she said story. But
Yeah.
Let's just leave it at that. Do your research. Do that. I'm not getting into drama on the podcast. Even though I do like Brad Lambert. He's an awesome guy. This, though, obviously it's always a he said, she said situation. I've heard the same thing happen on Black Adam, too. So I'll take that as what it is.
All right.
I heard that from one friend who has a bunch of friends that were extras on Black Adam.
Okay.
And it was very long days, because he would just either be late. So again, it's hard for me to really say. It's fucked up if it is true.
Mm-hmm.
I also will say it seems like The Rock has not discussed it, and he hasn't really been posting a lot since this article came out. So I don't know what the choice is or what they're deciding behind the scenes. I'm sure it's more of, okay, well, if you come out and admit and apologize, it might look bad on Red One, but also it might not look great if Variety, because I think when it comes down to like Variety and Deadline, they obviously have studio relationships. The studios can stop them from posting something. Vice versa, they can't stop someone like The Rap or someone else that's a little bit not as big in public as the trades. So let's just wait and see. I think that The Rock will be coming out talking about this within the month or so.
Yeah. All right. Your turn.
What are your thoughts on Paramount CEO potentially being fired? Not potentially anymore. He's no longer there. And possibly either making a deal with Skydance or Apollo and Sony. Well, Apollo and Sony seem to be the one that's going to get it. They put down, a $38 billion acquisition. And Paramount needs the money. So it's going to happen. And I think this is smart on Sony, because guess what? Sony might have licensed their films to Netflix, now to Disney. Where is it going to go next? Probably Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
That's
after
smart on
the
them.
deal with Disney and Sony is done.
Yeah, after.
It's going to be a few years.
Yeah, but still, good stuff on there.
It's smart on Sony. It's smart on Paramount, but I think it's terrible that we continue to have these.
I agree on that. Yeah,
I think it's starting to worry me. That's.
Yeah. I've been saying this. I don't think Netflix is a fucking company in 5 years. Yeah. I think someone buys them out.
Yeah.
Who do you think would buy them out? I think Apple would.
Apple, or as much as I don't want this to be the case, Warner Brothers. I know.
I would rather Apple buy them. I'd rather Apple buy them.
I would rather anyone else. I would rather Apple, Universal,
Amazon,
Paramount, Amazon would be great actually.
Yeah,
Amazon gets them. But yeah. Andrew Steve, what are your thoughts on Hugh Jackman and Jodie Comer starring in a Robin Hood movie? I'm excited. I miss having a good Robin Hood movie. The last good one we got, I like the Ridley Scott one with Russell Crowe, but the last really good one we got was Prince of Thieves, starring Kevin Costner, with the worst British accent you've ever heard, but still great movie. And Men in Tights, of course.
Well, I see Hugh Jackman is copying Taron Egerton this time, so
remember that Taron Egerton Robin Hood movie? I've
never seen it. Never seen it.
So bad.
So bad. I don't know. Honestly, I don't care about this. So that's just me, though.
All right. But Zach, it's from the director of Pig.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay, then I'm excited now. That's the thing that would actually intrigue me more.
Not part 3. Day 1.
Okay, that makes me excited then.
All right, what's next?
What are your thoughts on Netflix making a live-action Scooby-Doo series? If it is not rated R, there's no reason to do this.
My thoughts are one of my friends that I'm going to be with today is going to be very happy about this news. I'm very indifferent. I do not give a shit.
I do. I love
Scooby-Doo is just one of those properties that are like, yeah, cool.
Yeah. But you know what doesn't make me excited for this? Greg Berlanti's producing it.
Oh.
So is it a Riverdale situation or is it like...
They're all going to win superpowers, Zach. It's a Flash situation. It's a narrow situation.
All right, next thing. I'm just going to read it. The first teaser trailer from Megalopolis was released. If you managed to watch the teaser before This Week in Geek, what are your thoughts? And does the teaser make you more excited or more nervous?
Did you watch it?
I started the first 20 seconds and got bored, so I stopped.
Okay, so you wouldn't like the rest because there's no rest. It's literally
that's
just
what I thought.
That scene.
Yeah.
So
I kind of skimmed through, and I was like,
to compound on the brief thoughts I gave about the first look, the picture, Adam Driver has a terrible haircut, but he can stop time, apparently, according to that teaser. So I'm definitely more interested than I was before. It definitely feels like one of those movies that it's either going to be really fantastic or it's going to be an absolute wreck. I don't think there's any in between with this. So here's hoping it's the former. I also want to shout out that one of the shots, as you see the wide of him stepping out, I think that's the Chrysler building, and you see the clouds on the back. I'm just looking, I'm like, I wish this was a Batman movie because this looks like it could be a Batman movie. So yeah, that's it. Not much. Like, I wouldn't even call it a teaser. It's literally a scene.
That should have been the first
scene. Yeah. All right. Next up, Nathan Holton. Thoughts on WWE so far since WrestleMania? Very good. They're keeping up the momentum. All right, what's next, Zach?
Not sure if you guys touched on this in the past weeks or two, but thoughts on the Jon Snow sequel series being shelved. Part of me is bummed, but I also hear that shelved because they couldn't find the right story. It's heartening knowing the Game of Thrones franchise still has its integrity and isn't just pumping out content for the sake of its many franchises of its size to do. I'm going to raise you this. I don't think it's because of the story. I think it's because most people didn't want to come back. Honestly, I from what I understand, a lot of the actors just are over it and done. Mm-hmm. And the whole point of a sequel series wasn't to just bring Jon Snow back, which would have been cool to see. They wanted to bring a lot of actors back. And it really would have been kind of like what a lot of shows do. They do that sequel series to maybe help the final season not be as disappointing for many. I still think it happens, though, way down the line, though, when all these actors are older and you can bring back some of the veterans and harken in a new cast. Mm-hmm. But that's, again, future. But yeah, how about we just get this? Can the writer of the fucking books actually finish
the books? Yeah.
Let's do that first. Then I'll be happy.
Yeah. I agree. We didn't touch it on the last few weeks because this wasn't news. This made zero waves. I'm just finding out that it was.
You didn't know about this?
No.
Yeah. Kit Harington got interviewed and got brought, and he just
nobody talked about this. I didn't see this on any headlines at all. That's how much people don't care. And I said it at the beginning when it was announced. This, as much as he is my favorite character, Jon Snow, this is about the least interesting, like, next sort of spin-off or sequel or whatever you want to call it, show to Game of Thrones. So, I'm not bothered. I'm not mad. Dominic Scott, what are your thoughts on Spider-Man's cameo? I'm assuming you're asking in X-Men 97. Very exciting because that's the best Spider-Man animated series ever made. And I want to see at least one more season because we were left on a cliffhanger. If X-Men 97 can come back when they had a proper finale, Spider-Man 98 should too.
I think they will. I think they're gonna do it.
And the design really stands out as like the exact same.
Yeah, I still watch it. I still watch that anime.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I love that show. Do you guys think any of the Fox X-Men actors that return for Deadpool and Wolverine will be the same versions of the characters in the actual Fox movie? No, I do not. So far, they seem to be using the same actors from them in the MCU, but not making them the exact same versions, which personally I found frustrating since Toby and Andrew got to play the exact same versions. It's always different. What do you mean?
What do you mean they're not the same versions of the characters? But
Like the versions... No. He's not saying Toby and Andrew. Toby and Andrew were the same.
No, you say Toby and Andrew were the same versions. Who else isn't the same version?
Patrick Stewart, probably. Patrick Stewart's.
Fair enough. I thought you were talking about like specifically here. I think the characters we see here played by the same actors that played them in the past, they're gonna be those versions of the characters.
Oh, you think?
Oh yeah,
maybe.
100%.
I don't know. I'll see.
100%.
I think X-23. If X-23 is in it, but
Logan is the same version of the character. There you go.
But he's not the one from the Fox ones directly.
Yes,
He
he is.
No, I have to be quiet.
Boom. There you go. I win.
No, I can't argue with you because you haven't watched something else.
You'll tell me after.
Okay.
Also, Eric Thorpe. Why of the core 4 X-Men does it seem like only 3 of them, Wolverine, Cyclops, Storm, are likely in Deadpool 3, but not Jean Grey? Because Jean Grey in the movies is a boring as fuck character. That's the sad truth. Jean Grey is not a boring character. Jean Grey in the Fox movies is a boring fucking character. Jean Grey in the Fox movies is like, oh, no, don't yell at each other. Oh, no, I can see what they are thinking. Oh, no, I am the Phoenix now, and I'm not going to do anything the whole movie except stand there in the background. Jean Grey, look at Jean Grey in X-Men 97. Every fucking episode, she has a standout moment. Jean Grey in the X-Men movies, she had one standout moment, and that was in Apocalypse, which nobody else likes besides me anyway. So,
you know what 97's made me do?
Like Jean Grey?
Not
a boring fucking character.
It reminded me of why I like the X-Men. I was so burnt out by the Fox X-Men movies by the time it ended. So,
like, oh no, the X-Men are fucking cool.
Yeah, I do want to add this. She's in the movie, guarantee. She's in the movie.
There you go. She's still boring as fuck as a character in the movies.
Yeah. So, next one.
Next
Ren
one.
and Zach. Here's a deep cut cameo for Deadpool and Wolverine. King Thanos from Avengers Disneyland ride. Thoughts?
Nah.
No?
Also, what ride?
There's a ride they're building right now.
Oh,
going to be building. It's like a multiverse ride. So King Thanos is the villain.
Not there yet. No.
No, probably won't be there ever. It'll probably get canceled like they always do. So
no, but I'm saying that the cameo by King Thanos. No. If you get a Thanos, it'll be regular not King Thanos, Mad Titan Thanos, MCU Thanos.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Final question, which is a shame because I don't understand it. How many anniversaries have we had this week or month?
I don't understand.
I don't know what we're talking about. Amazing Scott. I am so sorry, but I genuinely do not.
Context is key.
You can think Famke was better than Sophie. I'm not talking about the actresses. I'm talking about the character as she's written, and literally
in both versions.
Literally, the only one that has a standout moment is when Sophie Turner first turns into the Phoenix in Apocalypse, which they then retcon anyway in the next movie. But that's just X-Men being X-Men in the Fox universe. So, it's a shame that we have to end on a question that we cannot answer because I genuinely have no idea what Amazing Scott is talking about. But thank you, everyone, for joining us today. If you are a wrestling fan, if you are trying to get into wrestling, WWE Backlash goes live in about, I don't know, I'm promoting them like I work for them. Goes live in about 100 or so minutes, 1 p.m. ET, 6 p.m. BST, right here in London. Enjoy Backlash, enjoy movies. Thank you for joining us once more. Don't forget to rate us on Spotify, on Apple, and to like the video if you're watching it on YouTube. Share with other friends so the podcast can grow. And until the next one, my friends, love each other and love